Hi everyone, it's Jessie, and today I'm going to be explaining to all of you why everyone should own a pet. Humans have been enjoying the companionship of animals for as far back and before Egyptian times. And although animals are still usually used traditionally, there are a lot of animals that their roles change. They've adapted to our human need for love and companionship. Today I'm going to be discussing the benefits of owning a pet as well as a few negative aspects as well. I'm first going to explain by beginning with a little bit of history behind pet ownership and the development of owning pets. Humans and animals have been companions for over 10,000 years. The relationship between humans and animals has a vast history, starting back in prehistoric times when wolves were the first animal to cross over into the domestic threshold and become a pet, or a pet per se. They hunted and they guarded and, probably provided warmth in the winter. The dogs also practiced herding, and then the Fertile Crescent of the Middle East, 8,000 years ago, dogs were greatly valued for their ability to help humans farm and herd cattle. So, even 3,000-4,000 years after that, dogs had developed to be an even greater asset to humans. Right around the same time, the people started to let cats into their homes because they'd find critters. Nobody wants critters in their house, so get a cat. They're great at getting rid of these unwanted pests. As humanity prospered, the relationship became more symbolic and less tangled with our selfish human needs. Rulers and the noble classes, when they owned pets, and back to Egyptian times, you can tell, and there's history, the Egyptians had murals of their dogs. They drew them to show the bond between humans and animals, and lots of noble men back in the Middle Ages took pictures with their animals. During the Middle Ages, noble ladies also found it fashionable to have lap dogs, although the men of the nobility found it more practical to have a hunting dog or a falcon. And in the Middle Ages, church leaders, and I find this hilarious, they looked down upon owning pets because they believed the relationship with an animal was too closely related to pagan worship. And that's, and then even during the 16th and 17th centuries, while the witch trials were taking place, many innocent women were killed for having close relationships with animals because, witchcraft. In history, humans have always kind of had a little bit of an unfavorable attitude toward animals. And now it's really starting to change. The camaraderie of animals was immoral, because it was interrupting the natural order of life, according to the evolution of pet ownership on pedigree.com. Pet ownership today has many different positive and beneficial aspects. There are a surprising amount of health benefits associated with owning a pet. The therapeutic effects, that states helpguide.com fulfill the basic human need to touch. Cuddling, petting, holding, touching an animal can almost instantly reduce your stress level, which is amazing. The companionship of a pet is also a great motivation for exercise, and they're always there if you're lonely, and they always want to be loved. They say pet owners have lower blood pressure, and in studies they've proved this. Heart attack patients, they survive longer when they have a pet. And it doesn't have to be a cat or a dog. Fish are just as welcome, and reptiles too. Playing with your pet elevates your level of serotonin and dopamine, which helps you relax and helps you, kind of ease yourself. People with pets are also less likely to suffer from depression because they always have something to make them laugh. If you have a cat, you can get the laser pointer out and make it chase it. Same with dogs. Owning pets actually brings a surprising amount of people together. As many ways as you can think of. Pet owners have always got something in common, and that's the love for their pet. Social networking actually nowadays makes it a lot easier to post pictures on Facebook of your cat, and then see pictures of your mom's cat or your friend's cat, or even someone you barely know in California's cat, It's just a way to kind of get to know people and the way they own their pets, Social networking is great for that, and I use Facebook all the time to show my friends pictures of my cats, and it's great. And I get to see pictures of theirs, and it's so fabulous. They also have dog parks, and around where I live there's only one, but I know that if you take your dog there, you're bound to meet 6-7 people who just love their animals, and you could take them to a pet daycare, center, and even taking them to the pet store, or a Petco. I have a Petco right down the street, and I love to take our cats in there. And they don't necessarily like it, but once the treats, they absolutely love it once you give them treats. Sometimes the vet's office can be a good environment for socializing with other pet owners, but it's kind of awkward because you're, either going to take your animal to get shots or whatnot. And pets often bring families closer together, and they can even mend broken relationships. Children and pets together can be crazy if the behavior is rotten, but if you train them both right, I know that sounds bad, but if you train both the kids right, then they work together, because a pet is almost like a child. And a pet can also help calm a child's anxiety if it's always around, if mom and dad are both gone and the pet's still there, it can help them kind of not feel so alone because of something familiar is always there. They don't criticize and they don't bark back at you. Well, they do bark, but they don't bark back at you either, so it really helps make a kid feel secure. And pets help teach children the basic human necessities, how to take care of something. And actually, they say children with special needs are better at interacting with pets as opposed to people, because they're better at picking up on the nonverbal cues given to them by pets. They can also help reduce their stress and frustration while elevating their self-esteem, which is great. And owning a pet isn't always the right choice for everybody, so you have to take into consideration all different kinds of aspects when you're choosing a pet. If you're picking out a new family member, it's important to consider your needs and your lifestyle and also financial stability. You're not going to go out and spend $600 on a dog you're never going to take out to walk. If you spend lots of time inside at home, you have to think about the kinds of animals that would enjoy that environment. A puppy, you couldn't do that because they'd want to get out and run and play. Even, cats would be alright in that environment. If you like to go outside, you like that, then getting a dog would be a great idea for you. You have to consider all the members of your household, including other pets, children, and elderly, and you have to think about your furniture and whether or not you want it destroyed. If you want your home clean and hair-free, I don't suggest getting a cat or a dog. Maybe a reptile. The health concerns are also something very important you have to take into consideration when you're buying a pet. The most important part about owning a pet is the commitment you're making to care for that animal throughout the entirety of its life. Also understanding that there can also be imminent heartbreak involved if something is to happen to your animal. Pets are not only companions to keep us occupied, they're family, and you have to treat them like that. Adopting a pet can mean saving an animal's life in the long run, and I hope today that I've convinced you all that owning a pet can lead to a happier, healthier lifestyle. And now I'm going to show you my snake. We haven't named him yet. This is our new snake. Thought you all might enjoy that. He's awesome. He's a baby. And so far, he's pretty great. And I also have a photo of my cat, Marceline, because she didn't want to be in here for this, and neither did Jeepers. They're pretty camera shy. And this is Marceline.